Because remember how in Florida, the convention last year we had in June was Wanda's convention, correct?
Yeah.
However, the breakouts before, that is the first vice president's responsibility, your incoming department president. So I listened, and you liked the conflict resolution, and we kept hearing, you know, my auxiliary sister or brother was not able to attend. How can we get that information? And we kept hearing about conflict resolution, okay? So I asked her if she would be gracious enough to do it again for us. And of course, Michele DeGennaro said, color me there. So I just wanted to open it up to color. Color is an anagram, and all I meant by it was continue our legacy of respect. I believe in the Legion family as a whole. That is your Legion. That is your auxiliary. That is your sons. And that is your riders. I have never held back to say I am an auxiliary member, but I'm also a proud rider. And we need to embrace our family. And how else can we do it other than coming together as a family? Because don't forget, our riders have to be a Legionnaire, a Sons, or an auxiliary member. So as we talk all year about continuing our legacy of respect, we give you examples how to reach out to those rider members. And most times, it's like any of us. If Americanism is my passion, sometimes I may be so focused on Americanism that I didn't really realize that there was community service. You follow me? So these members of the American Legion Auxiliary that joined the Riders could have been because they enjoyed our organization, they worked the mission in the Riders, and they enjoyed their commonality of motorcycles. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, and we need to embrace that wonderful tool because from a PR standpoint, they are visible as all get out. We talk about branding. You are amazing today with your branding, but so are the riders. And their passion is helping veterans, helping children and youth, etc. So how is that not our mission? That's our mission. So welcome them. So then, as I said, continue our legacy of respect. How can our tradition in Florida is to assign each district a theme, a color, whatever the department president would like to do. D-Belt, we were sitting around 4 or 5 of us and we were brainstorming, and I told him I'm having a hard time, believe it or not. What do you mean? Well, Stacy Cusano, your membership chairman, and I were thinking about there's only so many primary colors. Are you with me? So how do we tell it, okay, you be hot pink, you might be pastel pink, there's not enough colors. And she looked at me and she said, what about honoring past department presidents and their theme? Wow. Wow. Because our organization, I feel a shift to where we are the ones that have to take it into the next 100 years. So what better that we take a past department president, honor her legacy by continuing it throughout the years and giving it a new twist. So I hope you had fun with your membership themes. And right before I was duly elected by you, graciously, thank you, I'm humbled and honored. All of a sudden I asked Michele to do something for me. Hey, will you do this with me? And she said, color me there. And I was driving and I almost stopped the car. I went, color me there, I love it. She goes, that's your hashtag. I said, okay, can I use it? And all it means, we all know what a hashtag does, correct? We know that if you search color me there, hashtag color me there, it brings those photos on social media and all those events to you. However, I didn't realize the power that it has. We have Legionnaires, Sons, Auxiliary, and Riders walking by all of us saying, color me there, color me there. Basically, it is our commitment as members that we say we're here for our mission. which means we're here for our Legion family, correct? Because where do we ultimately get our mission? The American Legion. The American Legion. And as you've heard me say many times before, I understand it's a two-way street, but we will, as auxiliary members, continue to respect our family members. Make sense? So that's all it is. Have fun with color. I love all the pictures and all the social media of all the colors in your creativity, because it does one thing. Martha may like green. Dara likes red. Nell likes blue. Doesn't matter. Aren't they all God's colors? And we're coming together, working as a team for the state of Florida, which in turn honors our national organizations. It is. All we have to do is find more creative and fun ways to get along. That's it. We have tried culture of goodwill. Do you remember that? We tried be kind. We tried the golden rule. And now we're trying color me there. I'm there. If I can help you and you need help, whether it's the community or a Legion family, and most importantly, our veterans, that we are going to follow National President Vicky's lead by honoring our veterans every day, let's do it with color. Let's do it with fun and smiles and happiness. And we will not know until we meet them in the afterlife, but those past department presidents that are being honored, the ones that are not living, I can only hope that they are upstairs looking down and they are smiling because we found a way to reach more members. And that's it in a nutshell, okay? So I look forward to your visits. I've had 3 so far. Thank you to the 1st District, the 3rd District, and the 4th District. They proved that they took their district president's word that Jane was a working president. We have stuffed bags for homeless veterans. We have clipped coupons. We have had painting parties. There's a multitude of things that they have already asked me to do and included me and invited me, all the positives, and we've done it. And we had fun. We bonded. For those of you that are in 1, 3, 4, am I right? Woo! We had a blast. So please, 1, 2, and 4. I am so sorry. 1, 2, and 4. What day is it and where am I? It's Orlando and it's Friday. I'm good. Thank you, Michele. So I look forward to the rest of the districts being the same way. I love that you welcome me. What I want to do is I want to find out what you're doing in your units, and I want to join you. Because many hands make what? Light work. So let's all have fun. Enjoy the conflict resolution class. Please don't be afraid of conflict. We will always have conflict in our world, won't we? Forget our organizations, we are always going to have some sort of conflict in our world. And we are too important to our mission to do anything else other than try to resolve that conflict. Avoiding it does what? It does nothing for us, it does nothing for the members involved, and it does nothing for our organization. So once again, we're doing that mission creep. We're getting too far away from our true mission, and that is helping our veterans and families, communities, children, and youth. So I hope you enjoy the conflict resolution class. Please take notes. Put down things that you can suggest to your unit members, your unit leadership, and say, here's how we need to address issues. Because I know it's easy as members to sit in the meeting and hear conflict and go, okay, but if we don't come together to solve it, all that does is create animosity, leave your leadership by themselves. We should be doing this as a team so we don't lose those members that are involved in that conflict. We listen to both of them and we resolve it. So without getting into Michele's presentation, it is my honor to introduce Michele DeGennaro for conflict resolution.
Thank you for asking So, as she said, my name is Michele DeGennaro. I am a past department president here, and I'm honored to be teaching this class today. So, what is conflict? Conflict is a serious disagreement or an argument, typically one lasting for a long time or longer than expected. Or conflict can just be an incompatibility, or simply people just don't get along. Conflict comes in many forms. No, you were right. Tara is on the IT, so bear with us. Thank you for your help over there. So conflict does come in many forms. We have internal conflict. I actually had some internal conflict this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. Stacy, membership chairman, comes over to me and says, "You're supposed to be in a class." I said, "No, I'm teaching at 3:45. She said, puts it on, no, there it is right there, 1 o'clock. I went, oh my God. Now, mind you, it's like 1:30. Now the internal conflict starts going. What did President Jane do to me? Is it her fault? Is it my fault? Did she tell me? Did I not remember? Oh my God. Do I go to the class? Don't I go to the class? Now Stacy's standing at the door going, oh my God, Jane's teaching the class. I'm like, now do I go in? Do I not go in? What do I do? Well, I owned it. I walked in. And you know what she said? It's a learning. It was a learning. And we both understood that we've been doing so much. She may have thought she told me. I may have forgotten. It didn't matter. She was the president. She stepped up. She did the class. I went, oh, thank goodness. And we're all good. But if I would have been hiding or worried and not talked to her, what would that have done? Am I going to hide the rest of the weekend? Am I never going to go to an auxiliary meeting again? Because I don't want to deal with conflict. So that's internal conflict. And we don't know what people are going through in their lives. We really don't. We all have our own story. And all our stories are different. And some things upset some people, and some things don't. So we got to keep all that in mind. So it's internal conflict. And then we talk about interpersonal conflict. So I'm not going to tell you about our personal relationships, but we all have them, okay? And that's your home life. That's your personal, okay? We don't really need to know about them, but we need to know that everybody has them. There's also positive conflict, and that's what we were dealing with earlier today. It was a positive conflict. It's actually really a good thing. So it has the intent to eliminate problems, which it did. It has the goal to prevent issues from growing larger than they really are, and to understand both parties better, and or to acquire more knowledge. So it can produce new ideas, it can solve continuous problems, and provides an opportunity for people to learn, expand their skills, and foster creativity. How many times have we been in a unit and we say, if you always do what you always got, you always get what you always get on that one? So by fostering this communication, this conflict, like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe it didn't work 10 years ago or 20 years ago, but maybe it'll work today, and this is why. And have that communication, have that discussion. It could be a great thing. Then there is unit conflict. We see that almost in every unit, don't we? Personality differences, unmet needs. What do I mean by unmet needs? We all join the auxiliary for a reason. Maybe it's not meeting what I'm there for. Competing duties or poor implementation of a job description. I would like you to be the sergeant at arms for this meeting. 10 years later, she is still the sergeant at arms. Where is our expectations? How about can you just work bingo one night? Right, Tammy? Just one night is all I need you for. 5 years later, Tammy's working bingo 3 nights a week. After a while, she's gonna get over it. Tammy doesn't even like bingo. Mismanagement of organizational change and transition. I have to remain the president because nobody else can do it like me. And there she is for 20 years. We see it. Differences over work methods or goals. Differences in perspectives due to age gender, or upbringing. And we're seeing that more and more with our different age groups and our one generation getting a little older. We're trying to bring in a new generation. We've got a generation gap going on. I work for the clerk of the court. 2 years ago, they let us show our tattoos. 2 years ago, they said we were walking around and they had Band-Aids. We looked like we beat our employees. They had to change with the times. And so do we. Okay? But that can create, some of these senior members, and I won't say old age, but senior as in been members for a long time, they're kind of set in their ways. And as I said, they don't really want to, adapt too much. And it may cause conflict. But we have to embrace them. We have to embrace what they know, continue our legacy of respect. And then they have to embrace us in our new way of thinking and our new ideas. So let's talk more about the effects of conflict in a unit. As I said, personality differences brings fighting, negativity. How many members are going to keep going to a meeting if all you do is fight at it? I don't want to see that. I'm a very busy person, and if I want to go, I want to get things done. I don't want to hear this bickering, and it's going to turn people off and they're going to leave. Unmet needs. I'll just stop coming. I'm not getting fulfilled. They're not letting me help. They're not letting me be a part of it, so what do they need me for? And there goes that number. Competing duties or poor implementation of a job description. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, so I'll just sit here. Nobody said. I asked if I could help. They just told me to sit there. I'll be back. Or do what I want. So I sat there. Then again, I went to the lounge and had a cocktail. There goes that number. Mismanagement of organizational change and transition. Like I said, some officers, year after year, they don't want to give it up. They don't want to train the next one. They don't want to mentor. It's theirs. I have been the treasurer here for 40 years. My ledger is impeccable. Okay, QuickBooks ladies, gotta go with the times. But again, this is what she's been doing, this is what she's used to, and nobody can do it better than her. We have to show that we can. Differences over work methods or goals. Difference in perspectives due to age, gender, or upbringing. We tried that years ago, and it will never work. And when I teach an ABC class, I tell the members there, maybe it didn't work because you weren't there. Maybe it's going to work now because they've got you. So tell that member, I want to try it. I'm here now. Let's give it a try. Poor communication, misunderstanding, remarks and comments taken out of context. She was mean to me. Well, who was in the convention breakout when we did this at convention? Because I'm going to tell the same story I told back then. Because it's a good one. So I'm at an auxiliary function. Actually, it was a post function. And we were doing a benefit for a young SAL member who was very ill. And I come in, and I already have the auxiliary ladies are doing the baskets, and they know what they're doing. And I'm going to be the auctioneer and the MC. And, all of a sudden, one of the auxiliary members comes over, and she just is like, in my face, they're taking the tickets wrong, and they're doing the baskets wrong. And I was like, oh, get out of here. She went with the commander. And the commander calls me in the office. Did you tell somebody to leave? Why, no, Commander, this isn't my post. I would never tell anybody to leave. Well, Mary Lou said you told her to leave. I had to sit there and think a minute, and I went, oh my gosh. So for those of you who don't know, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And every now and then, that Brooklyn comes out. And when I meant get out of here, I just meant get out of here. I didn't mean get out of here. Well, she thought I meant get out of the post. And like I said, the commander actually came up and said, I'm like, oh my God, Mary Lou, I am so sorry. And we talked about it, and swear to God, we talked about it. I said, Mary Lou, I'm sorry, that was a little Brooklyn. I apologize. I'll take it back a step. I did not mean that. I just meant, can I at least get a drink before you yell at me? And we were fine. But could you imagine what it have done to that unit if we would have kept that animosity and that conflict going. She really thought I meant get out of here. Not realizing that's just the way I was talking at the moment. So misunderstandings are sometimes just that, misunderstandings. But if we don't confront them, they're just gonna fester and get bigger. And then Mary Lou's gonna talk to Betty and Susie on this side of the room. And I'm gonna be over here going, what are they talking about? They're talking about me, and now we're talking about them. And now we're connected to our unit. Okay? Problems, right? So, what do we do when we have all this conflict going on? We need to look for a common goal and a common purpose. Our mission. Here. In the spirit of service, not self, the mission of the American Legion Auxiliary is to support the American Legion and to honor the sacrifice of those who serve by enhancing the lives of our veterans, military, and their families, both at home and abroad. For God and country, we advocate for veterans, educate our citizens, mentor youth, and promote patriotism, good citizenship, peace, and security. Now, I'm not asking you to lie, but I am going to ask you by a show of hands, who in this room is not motivated, inspired, or wants to be a part of this organization because of that mission? Who is not inspired by it? Raise your hand. Everybody's inspired, right? Did I see that? Who in this room is not motivated, inspired, or driven to be a member of this organization when you read our mission? Everybody is inspired, right?
All of us there.
So there are times when we feel stuck in our communication. Though no matter what we say or how we plead our case, we make zero headway. She's never going to listen to me. I've tried talking to her for the last 10 years. It's not going to work. We're so fixated on what we need and what we want. Sometimes we forget to consider the other person's feelings and their needs and their wants. So as leaders, we seek to first understand, then to be understood. What's really important? Our mission. What are our priorities? Our mission. Are you being true to yourself for the good of our mission? Our American Legion Auxiliary leadership values are personal integrity, family values, respect for the uniqueness of individual members, truthful, open communication in dealing with our members, and the adherence to the adopted policies and rules. So how do we fix the problem of conflict? If we follow our ALA values compassionately, kindly, and for the good of our mission. Because when we have conflict, we're not working on mission, are we? So, conflict resolution steps. Stay calm and maintain steady body language. Jane, I just want to talk to you. Yeah, not so much calm. Okay? Can you believe it? I gotta talk to you. Take a step back. Usually they look at me and say, breathe. Just breathe. Don't say a word until you breathe. So before approaching conflict, take that step. Take that step back and just take a breath. Find a private and comfortable place to discuss this conflict with that person. And it is not in the middle of your meeting. It is not in the middle of the lounge. It may be in an office. It may be out on the patio by yourselves. A picnic table off to the side. Someplace quiet where you two can talk it out privately. Acknowledge that a problem exists. Because what do we say? Admitting there is a problem is the first step. Gotta admit there's a problem in order for us to fix it. So, first, for the best chance of having a productive conversation, it's helpful for all parties to agree, yeah, there is a problem, and we need to work this out. Agree to find a solution. Once the problem has been acknowledged, everyone needs to agree that a resolution should be reached. In most conflicts, people are not trying to work to understand the perspective of everyone involved. In most conflicts, people are not trying to cause problems. Rather, most conflicts commonly arise, again, because of misunderstanding. People in this organization give so much. They're not looking deliberately to hurt people. Well, at least I hope they're not. I don't feel that from you ladies and gentlemen. We want to help. That's why we're here. We want to help our community, our veterans. It feels good to help. That's why we're a part of this organization, to give back. And whatever our why is, we have to keep coming back to our mission. So, take note of what triggered the conflict. Well, I missed the meeting. And I didn't remember. Or maybe she didn't tell me. Or maybe I just didn't read it on the sheet and I should have. So how can we approach this differently? Well, maybe next time we need to sit down and go over the itinerary together. That would help. Identify opportunities for a compromise. All right, I'm only teaching one class, not 4. All right, maybe 2. Let's compromise. So again, come to an agreement. Tammy, I promise you're only going to work bingo for a year. I promise, not 5. You got to come to some kind of an agreement, some kind of compromise, and it may cost both of you to give a little, and that's okay. Agree on a plan for a resolution for the good of the mission. That's why we're here. Ideally, at this point, each person should know that they contributed something to the situation. You got to feel like you're a little bit a part of it, and then we can start working on resolutions. And then, of course, we need to check back. So maybe tonight I might just go to Jane and go, hey, are we really good? You're not really mad that I missed the class? And she's going to go, we're good. I'm going, okay, we're good. Kind of puts us both at ease a little bit. Earlier, Mary said she wasn't going to share the room with us because she was afraid. So, creating conflict with Mary, too. So, you never know what's going on. You never know what's happening in these people's lives. Sometimes we may have to involve a third party if the conflict continues. Hopefully, by following those steps above, conflict will be resolved. However, there may be situations where one or more parties fails to cooperate. No, I did nothing. It is all her fault. That's right, her, right there. She did it. I did nothing. I hear that all the time, too. So, if the situation does escalate, it may be time to call in for some help. That's when it's time to bring in a moderator, a mentor, someone on your leadership team. District president, DeGennaro, any one of us are here to help. Keep in mind, only a unit can discipline a unit member. So even though we're coming in as a leadership team to help your unit, it is up to your unit to decide what to do with these members. They can continue to have conflict, tear your unit apart, stop other members from wanting to go to meetings, or your unit can come together and resolve this issue. Okay? So, what does this mean? It means the unit can only receive advice, and it's up to the members of that unit how they want to proceed. So with that being said, when you're at that point where a moderator needs to step in, each side will now have 15 minutes. Because there's nothing more than what these people want to do is to take up your Saturday to go, but she was mean to me, and just let me tell you my whole story, honest, for the last 10 years. Okay? 15 minutes. That's all you got. So Charlotte, you're going to tell your side of the story. You got 15 minutes. And you know what? We got a timer. 15 minutes. You're up. When she's done, we go to the next one. Janie, you got 15 minutes. That's it. Tell me your side of the story. And then when you know what we do? We send Jane and Charlotte out of the room and tell them they got 15 minutes to fix it. For the good of the mission. 15 minutes for the good of the mission. That's all you got. Because this is here all day listening to you two argue. Ain't happening. We got work to do. We got to help our veterans. We got to work our mission. So most of the time, as I said, conflict does arise from misunderstandings. Mary just sits in the lounge, complains about every auxiliary function. Not that Mary, a different Mary. Sorry, Betty. I'm going to use Betty. So Betty won't bring a dish to serve at the dinners, never has anything nice to say about others. The members of the unit are getting pretty discouraged, and it's causing conflict with some of Mary's close friends in the unit. Betty. Sorry. My script says Mary. President Susie, though, has tried approaching Betty. Betty doesn't even want to talk to her. So President Susie calls her moderator. Says, okay, Betty, you got 15 minutes. Tell us what happened. Come to find out, 3 years ago, Betty brought in a cake to the dinner, and President Susie forgot to put it out. Oh my God. Well, Betty's cooking, she just thinks Susie just hates her cooking. And she's never going to bring in another dish again. And has it to this day. Sound familiar? It was an oversight. Susie just forgot. Susie actually loves her cooking. And actually took the cake home. Because she forgot to put it out. Come to find out, her and her husband enjoyed it very much. But it's by talking that they found that out. It was tearing the unit apart over something that happened 3 years ago, and as simple as, I forgot. And that's all it was. It is these little things that if left unresolved that will turn into conflict. You cannot be afraid to address these situations. This is your unit, ladies and gentlemen. This is your unit. If they still do not come to a common ground after this, it's up to your unit how to proceed. If Betty is causing problems, and there's no changing her mind, and she says where she's never going to volunteer bringing another dish, then maybe that's not the right unit for Betty. And maybe we should tell Betty. We have 220 units in the Department of Florida. Pick another one where you're happy. Sometimes we don't get along with that unit, and that's okay. Sometimes it's us, sometimes it's not. We have to find that correct ground, we have to find where that problem is, and sometimes we have to look inside. So, teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision, our mission. The ability to direct individual accomplishments toward organizational objectives. It is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. Remember, play nice, work hard, and always be kind. Are there any questions? Wow. Okay, on that note, it's dinner.
One moment. This one's different than the other one.
Right here.
Okay, the ALA, oh, you have a question? One moment.
I got it.
My name is Sue. I'm from Unit 283 Jacksonville. I have a question. I wrote down what you said about the conflict and how to resolve the conflict. Here's the conflict that we're trying to find an answer to. We have a member who's an officer and a committee chair, has a medical issue, and is not taking care of it properly, where she is unable to do the duties that she volunteered to do. Other people are having to step up for her, reports aren't being taken, aren't being put down, things of that nature. And how do you
Would you speak up, please?
Oh, sorry, how do you request her to vacate the position, step down without getting her upset and a couple of Legion members upset?
Sure, absolutely. Karen, can you load this right here? Can you load it there, Elizabeth? That's it. There we go. Thank you, man. So, did everybody hear the question? Okay, so that officer was elected by the members. So the only thing that unit can do is to ask, sit her down. Obviously, she loves the auxiliary. She's just not as healthy as she used to be. Don't we all feel that? And sit her down and talk with her and say, for the good of the mission, will you please resign? And if not, and if she doesn't want to step down, then ask her if she will mentor another person and have her now be the leader or the chairman, if you will, or the officer, but she can sit there, the other person can start filling in, and she can start mentoring the next one to take her place. And again, this goes back to, she's probably been doing it a long time. She doesn't think anybody can do it as good as her because, you know, we're all the best at what we do. Nobody can do it as better, some people think. So maybe that's her situation where she just doesn't want to let it go. Maybe she is really sick and that is what she's holding on to. You know, if she's a long-time member and has been a long-time active member, continue our legacy of respect. We have to also respect her. So talk with her. Just talk. And say, you're not making all the events. You're not making all our meetings. What can we do to help you? Can we get you a helper? Can we pick you up and give you a ride? Maybe she's afraid to drive at night, or whatever the case. I don't know, but you have to talk to her. You owe it to we owe it to our members to talk to our members. Okay? Any other questions? Thank you. Let's stand. Jane right here.
Thank you. I had a volunteer job for 14 years, and I had a team of like 21 women, and we had job descriptions and everything, and I had a kitchen team, and I had a kitchen leader, PR leader, all these things, right? So I, as the chairperson, would just go to the chair people and say, okay, here's a problem. Do you want to handle it, or do you want me to handle it? And I never had handling except once. And what I did in a case like that was someone was being very ugly in the kitchen. And so one day after our meeting, we asked her to stay back at the meeting, and she and the kitchen lead and I talked to her, and I asked her to take a sabbatical because I said, I think you need to take a break. She had a lot, as you said, we don't know where they have been walking. But I already knew she was, really involved in her school. She's a teacher and she had a lot going on. And I said, I just think that, it's just time for you to take a step back. Let's take a sabbatical. You can help us do other things, but you need to stay out of the kitchen because you said it's my kitchen and there's no I in team. So I think that's another solution that you could ask them to step back and take a sabbatical and let somebody else.
And maybe this woman was just waiting for somebody to say, it's okay. You can step back a little bit. We got this. And she probably got home that night and went, oh, thank God I don't have to do that in our kitchen anymore. But she was probably so dedicated and so loyal. I know Tammy's still running bingo 5 years later because she's dedicated and loyal. And honestly, I ran bingo for 14 years. The second and fourth Tuesday of every month for 14 years. I'm done with bingo at my post home. So, maybe, and I was just waiting for somebody to say, we'll take it over. I'm like, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. So maybe that was the right approach, but until you talk to them. First of all, if Mary says to Susie, can you believe how Charlotte's acting? That's a rumor. Do we know how she's acting? Do we know why she's acting that way? Ask them. Talk to them. Stop the rumors, stop the gossip, and talk. We're adults.
Yes,
Any other questions? Thank you, Miss Bridget. Welcome to the party.
So this is all good stuff, and it's really helpful. What if I have a situation, any of us have a situation where the two people in question, one's willing to come to the table, the other one isn't?
Right, so again, as I said, both parties have to agree. The first step in getting help is admitting we have a problem. So if they're not willing to help, and they're not willing to come to the table to try to square this out and get back to our mission, and that's what you ladies and gentlemen have to keep saying. We're working here for our mission. It's all about our mission. I don't have to invite any one of you to my house for dinner, but I have to work with every one of you for the good of our mission. And that's what we have to keep in the forefront. So, in that case, it's really up to your unit what you want to do with that lady or gentleman, that member, let's say. Because is she that disruptive to the unit? Is she causing that much problems to the unit? You may have to take action on that. Again, that's up to the unit. And you may have to say, we are requesting that you come to this meeting to talk, or we will take further action because you are disruptive to our unit. You are stopping other members from wanting to work on the mission, stopping other members from joining. Again, you don't know until you ask. But it always falls back on you, the members. You're the voting members. You voted them in. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Dottie Anderson, Unit 24, Bradenton, Florida, District 8. I've been talking to my members here, and we would like to invite Betty to our unit if she'll bring cake.
Absolutely. I was sitting here in the membership meeting, and we were talking about somebody mentioned, do we call the other unit and find out why they're transferring? You don't have to. You can. But why? You know, maybe that unit member just didn't get along with that group of unit members in that unit. You know, maybe it was a senior group that has been around for a long time and they just didn't like, you know, I'm going to use myself. Here I am, going on 21 years as a member, 20-year member, and of course 20 years ago I walked in with shorts, tattooed, and they're like, did you just see who just walked in? Yeah, but guess what? I'm young, I can lift all that heavy stuff. They moved me right up before I couldn't even go to the bathroom. I was unit president. So she can lift heavy things. So find their positives, you know. But that may not have been the unit for me if they would have kept talking about me. You know, maybe it was this unit right next door that would be a better fit. So sometimes people transfer because it's just not the right fit, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. What's up, Eddie? Bring a cake for you, Donna. Miss Mary? Whoa. Miss Mary.
That's me.
Is it really what I said, right? Today? All right. So today is Mary Fish's birthday. So all right, I do not be carrying but you, Miss Mary Fish. I need help. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mary. Happy birthday to you. I know we are guests in our post. The auxiliary is a guest in the post. You have a commander who does not like to do things and is constantly putting them out there. And me personally, like I said, it's all about me. So I don't like to say no because he's asked. But when it's constant. You're the unit president, aren't you, Mary? I am. Okay. So, not to get into too much detail, but Is it to put on a special event? Or is it to like work the Friday dinners? Or it doesn't matter? Everything. So it may be time to come to the commander and to say, hey, can we meet? As president and commander, I just want to talk with you. You know how much we love our veterans. You know how much we come into this post and we want to support our legionnaires. You know what men like, come on. Right? You work him, and then you say, but then you turn around and you tell him, but we're a little stretched thin. So can we go over a calendar for the next month, and I can let you know what we can handle and what we can't? I had a commander of my post home, been there about a year and a half, and he just resigned. I don't know what I'm doing. It's his fault. They have offered to come in time and time and time again. We have offered to sit down with him. So, you know, if he's telling you, I don't know, sit down with him.
I mean, they have services when they have service. I don't know what to do. I make a whole agenda. I even put, prayer, please, open.
Mary,
Remarks.
make him a commander's book. Seriously. My old commander, we used to call him the Walmart greeter. All he did was sit there and welcome everybody in there. He was a Walmart greeter. He didn't know, I don't even think he could read the POW resolution. To foster and perpetuate, we were like, oh God, he's butchering these words. But he was friendly. Greg Jane was there. He was the Walmart greeter. We were at our all-time high when he was the commander in membership. Auxiliary Sons, Legion, Riders. He was the Walmart greeter, but didn't know how to do anything. So I gave him a commander's book. I made it for him. I said, here you go. Every ceremony that we needed for the year, any installation, anything he needed to do, I even wrote his speeches. Here you go. It's in the book.
When I went to the national, I bought the manual of ceremonies and brought it back. I don't know what to do with it.
But I would really talk with him, and again, it's all about communication. You know, he may think, oh my God, I can't do this without Mary, and she's just a godsend, and she is helping us, and without her, we would not be the post home we are. And here you're going, oh my God, he's asking me to do something else again? But how does he know? So have a meeting with him, talk it out, and if it is too much, you say, can we see the calendar? Because I really don't have the people, I really don't have the time, whatever the case, and be honest with him. I mean, we're not telling you to do everything they say, we're just telling you to get along. Family, we're a Legion family. Families fight. Families fight. The issue is we got to kiss and make up. Because the families that work together thrive together. The families that are doing this all day, they're going down. And we see that with the charters, losing charters for legionnaires, post homes, auxiliary. We've got to stop that. Gotta kiss and make up. But it's okay. It's okay to bicker. Hey, you may even fight for a day or two, as long as you come back and work it out. Okay? Any other questions? I know it sounds like a lot of fluff, but trust me, when you've got those two people and you tell them you got 15 minutes, it really does work. I've had people come over throughout the state. We've been traveling around, and I've had several people say, I was in your class in June, and it works. Because really, they just want to be heard. People want to be heard. They want to feel like they're important, like they're making a difference. It feels good for us to feel like we're helping and making a difference. It feels good to people. That's why we do it, and I know we all have our why, but if it was a terrible thing, we wouldn't do it, no matter how big our why is. So it's got to feel good. And that's what everybody wants. That's why they're here, so make them feel good, and whatever it takes. It may be this for one. For Betty, it may be bringing in her cake. Donna gets it. All right, any other questions? I'd like to thank our Legionnaires that are in here too, by the way. All our Legionnaires. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Janet Woods, Unit 77, Inverness. I just want to make a comment. I know you said that this is a repeat of what you did at convention, right? I think this should be a regular, every year class.
Oh, thank you, Michele. Well, you still have our first vice, second vice, and third vice in the room? I'll be passing on my PowerPoints because I don't want to keep this job forever. I'm setting the stage now. There's not going to be any conflict here. No, I'd be honored, but thank you, Janet, I appreciate that. It really is all about just being kind. And I hate to keep saying that, but, you know, like Jane said, you know, we tried the golden rule, we tried culture of goodwill, we've tried all of that, and it's still, the decline happened. The units are still fighting, members are still arguing. So what is it going to take? Talk it out. Always bring it back to our mission, because that's really why we're all here. And again, like I said, none of you have to come to my house for dinner. I don't have to invite any of you, but I do want to work with each and every one of you for the good of the mission. And that's what it's all about. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.